Hey guys, this is Steve Huff from SteveHuffPhoto.com. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Today I have the Nikon Z6. I finally got a hold of one for 2-3 weeks to give it the go through and give it a review. And I'm going to compare it to my Canon EOS-R, which I've been using non-stop since the day it came out. It's filming me right now with the 24 f1.4 at f2. But today I want to share my very first thoughts on the Nikon Z6, what I think about it so far, and also give you guys a quick video comparison. I'm going to film some of this with the Canon and some of this with the Nikon to see if the Nikon keeps up with the focus, how the image quality is compared to the Canon with my lights, and I'm going to set them exactly the same way. So let's take a look. Alright, so I have the Nikon here. This is the Z6 with the 24-70. This comes in at around $2,500, a little bit cheaper by around $700-800 than the Canon EOS-R with their 24-105 f4 lens. Now, we all know all about these cameras because there's 1,052 reviews here on YouTube of each one. You have people complaining about each camera, people praising each camera, people picking apart every little detail of each camera, people showing you 500x crops, which has nothing to do with photography. It doesn't. Those crops that you see blown up, that has nothing to do with the art of taking an image or the actual image itself, because when someone's viewing a print or viewing an image online, you're not going to see those minuscule little details or noise differences. So we have all of that online. What am I here to offer that hasn't been said already? Well, probably not much. But I just want to give you guys my opinion because you know I bought the Canon EOS-R when it came out. I bought it with the kit lens, and I have some L lenses here that I love to death. The 24L, the 51.2L, the old version. And I also have the 16-35 with image stabilization built in that lens. Now, the Nikon came to me and it came in and I took it out of the box, I charged the battery, I immediately held it in my hand, and the first thing I noticed compared to the Canon is my pinky falls off here. It doesn't have a big enough grip to where my whole hand fits on it. The Canon does. The Canon, with that camera, I can hold the whole camera and my finger is there because the Canon's a little bit larger in the hand. I say without question the Canon wins ergonomically for me and my hands. It feels better in the hand, it feels more natural, and it also has that swivel out articulating screen, which I love because as I'm filming right now I can make sure that the face detect box is around me, and it is. I know I'm in focus, I know how I'm framed, and I love that. That is one reason why I own the EOS-R, because I use this camera almost every day to shoot video with, and I also shoot photos with the camera. But the Nikon Z series is compelling because it has the Nikon controls, right? Now, control-wise, the Nikon has a better layout of controls. Canon went in a different route, the revolution, you know, they're trying to be revolutionary and change some things. Some things worked, some things didn't. But the Nikon feels more like a photographer's camera. It has controls where you would expect them. It feels like a Nikon. If you've used a Nikon DSLR, you're going to feel right at home with everything about the Z6, except instead of that optical viewfinder, you have a lovely high-resolution EVF. Now, between the Canon and the Nikon, I'm going to give the EVFs a tie. They are both beautiful, they're both huge, they're both crisp. I really, really enjoy them both. Now, one thing that I said I didn't need in a camera, and one of the reasons I was okay going with the Canon, is in-body image stabilization. The Nikon has it, and I will say it is the best implementation of it in a full-frame camera. It kind of slaughters the Sony implementation of IBIS, especially for video. Now, when I shoot Sony's, the a7 III, R3 with video, I barely notice any IBIS going on, any stabilization. With the Nikon, I notice it. And Debbie and I went out today. She had a schedule to get a tattoo today. And I was just testing some of the IBIS features of the Nikon with this 24-70 lens to see if it would give me any jitters when I would shoot video, because with Sony it does. I'm happy to say the Nikon provided very smooth video just in my first handheld test, and I wasn't trying to keep it steady. I was shooting as I normally would, acting as if, you know, I don't need to, because the IBIS should do all the work. So the video looks smooth, and that is because of the in-body image stabilization. It could have looked butter smooth if I actually kept my hands steady as well. So the Canon lacks that, but the Canon has that in some of the lenses. Other than that, I don't like the fact that the Nikon doesn't have the articulating screen. For things like this, shooting video, for vlogging, which is huge these days, you really want to frame your shot and make sure you're in focus, because with the Nikon or the Canon or any camera, it can lock onto a face behind you or an object behind you, and with this camera you'd never know, and you could shoot a whole vlog without even realizing you're out of focus. So for that reason, I love the Canon, but even so, I want to test how the Nikon does in a situation like this where I have lights and it should be able to lock onto my face. I want to see the color differences. So here in a minute, we're going to switch to the Nikon and put that on the tripod. As a matter of fact, let's just do it right now. And here we are with the Nikon Z6 now filming me. I hope that it's in focus. I have face detect, it's in neutral. I set the white balance manually to the same settings. It's in neutral mode. Everything is the same as the Canon. So I'm still at 24 millimeters, though with the Canon I was using f1.4. With this lens, its f4 is as shallow as I can get. I have face detect on. I hope it has found my face. I wouldn't know because I can't see, because there's no articulating LCD. I don't know what the color signature is going to look like either, but I'm hoping that it's going to look good. This is with the 24-70 at 24 millimeter. With the Canon, I was using my 24L. Of course, I had the 24L wide open. This, on the other hand, is at f4, so it's not going to give that same glowing look about it, but it should look good, right? I have my mic, external mic, attached into the mic input. I do like that on the back of the Nikon screen you can see the audio levels, which for some reason is omitted on the Canon EOS-R. I don't see that on my display on the Canon. One thing I want to talk about also is when the Nikon came to me, when the Nikon Z6 got to me in the mail, it came with the 24-70 and the 35 f1.8. And I realized I didn't have a memory card for it, because all I have here are compact flash and SD cards. So I had to go on Amazon and buy a Sony XQD card, and it was like $140 really good. for a 64 high quality gig card. They feel like then a I had mini to buy a card reader compact flash
for it. So it cost me
thicker,
$200
they're bigger, they look
just
a
to
little
get a
sturdier,
64
and they're
gigabyte
really
card.
fast.
I will
but
say
right
when the
now
card came,
they're going to
it feels
cost
sturdy,
you.
it's thick,
Also,
it's
these
almost
things
like
get
a
a little
mini compact flash, but still, they're a little pricey, and I still prefer using SD cards. I don't have problems with SD cards at all. They're plenty fast for me, but I do see, you know, these new cards do seem to be more sturdy. Though, man, you got to add that to the price if you're going to buy a Nikon. Remember that. So this is not a video to review the Nikon, but I do want to show, here's my Canon. I've been using this thing every day, and I use it with the adapter and mostly the 24L version 2. I love this camera. As you can see, I have a full grip on it. As you can also see, there is the articulating display, so you can, you know, if you want to get those low-level shots, you still can. So I feel every manufacturer should have this kind of display. I love the feel of the Canon. I like the Canon feel much more than the Nikon. And I am one who actually enjoys the power button on the left side of the Canon because it keeps it out of the way of all the controls. I just turn it on like so, and it's ready to go. And my right finger and hand can concentrate on the camera controls. When I want to turn it off, easy slide button off. So I'm one who likes that. I really, really love the EOS-R. I have a few lenses for it now, and again, it gets used daily. I've not had one hiccup or focus fail with the Canon. So how is the focus of the Nikon Z6? For photos, it was fantastic. It was quick. It was snappy. For video, let's see here. I'm going to see if we can get this focused on right here. Hopefully it's focusing on this. So I would say if you're doing videos like this for YouTube and you want a full frame camera, the best bet is the EOS-R, because you don't have to buy an external display and hook it up and have all this extra stuff going on. You can just use that little articulating screen. Again, with the Nikon, I don't know if I'm in focus, and if I'm not, I'm just going to leave the video as it is. I hope I am, because I don't want the Nikon to fail here. I'm pretty confident it should be nailing me with the focus, because we got lights on and my face is right here. So I'm giving it an optimal chance to succeed. So my guess is that it is. So over the next few weeks, hold on, let me switch cameras again. All right, so we're back with the Canon. Now, I did go look at the video. The video from the Nikon looks good. I have no complaints. As a matter of fact, it's sharp, it's crisp, it looks really good, but the audio is a big fail to me. Now, I have a Rode Video Mic Pro Plus plugged into each camera. With the Canon, I have a beefy sound that's full, it sounds great. With the Nikon, the audio sounded a little tinny to me, which means the preamp inside the Nikon is not up to par with the Canon. I prefer the sound of the Canon with the mic attached than what I was getting out of the Nikon. So focus looked good. It kept focus. It was able to keep focus on the object when I put it in front of the camera. Could I trust it without a display fully? I haven't used it enough yet to say yes or no. But that first test looked really good. As far as photo quality, I've only shot a few images with the Nikon so far. I'm going to take it out this week, hopefully, and shoot it side by side with the EOS-R. And I will say that the focus on the Nikon is really fast when you're taking photos. It was locking on, you know, just as fast as the Canon, just as fast as the Sony. These days, all three of these mirrorless cameras have pretty amazing focus capabilities. I'm still delving into the Nikon menus, which seem to be vast, but not overly complicated. Menu system, I would give the Canon the prize, then Nikon, then Sony. Color, I would give, you know, that's a personal preference. Some people love Canon color, some people love Nikon color, some people like Sony color, some people like Olympus, some people like Panasonic and Leica, and so on. They all have different color, right? Color science is the big term going around these days. So Nikon has always had a really good color to the photos, like a real life kind of look that's great for street shooting, great for landscapes. You know, so I really do like Nikon's color. It's different than Canon, but I really love the color that usually comes out of my Canon when I take photos. So far the first impressions of the Nikon are good. What I don't like about it is I wish it was a little bigger and my pinky could grip it. I wish that it had an articulating screen so I can verify the focus when I'm doing stuff like this. I wish the mic preamp was a little beefier. It sounds a little tinny to me. And also when it arrived, I didn't have an XQD card, and I was like, oh, that's right. I can't use my SD card with the Nikon. It has one single slot like the Canon, but I had to go spend $200 on Amazon on an XQD card, 64 gig, and a card reader because you can't use SD cards with the Nikon. I will say the XQD cards are they feel really good. They're like high quality. They feel like a mini compact flash. They're thicker, they're bigger, they look a little sturdier, and they're really fast, but right now they're going to cost you. Also, these things get a little hot in the card reader just after 20 minutes of being in there. So if you buy a Nikon Z6 or Z7, be prepared to pay for the card and a card reader to go along with it. So in all reality, if it's $2,500, $2,600 for the Nikon kit, add another couple hundred to that, but you're still coming in at under the price of the Canon, and you're gaining in-body image stabilization. And what else are you gaining? You're gaining a better Spect 4K video, because with Nikon you can shoot full frame 4K, with the Canon you can't. Good thing for me, I don't shoot 4K, I shoot 1080 exclusively. The Canon does more than good enough for that for me. But again, the Canon beats the Nikon in my first impressions with the swivel out LCD,
better ergonomics, and the better preamp for the audio from what I'm seeing right now. Battery life, I think they're both equivalent and around the same, but so far the Nikon seems to be doing everything well, which goes along with what I've been saying for a while now. All of these cameras are great. If you're a fan of Canon, go with Canon. If you're a fan of Sony, go with Sony. If you're a fan of Nikon, go with Nikon. But I have a long way to go with this review. I have to go shoot it for photo and video, give it the full rundown. But I will be having another video here about the Z6 and also a couple of articles with comparisons against the Canon here at stevehufpphoto.com. There's much more to come over there at the website, including next week, or this weekend, I'm going to Sedona to shoot with the Sony 24G Master to do some astro stuff with some fellow photographers. The week after that, I'm going somewhere to test something brand new that nobody even knows about yet. And I'm also going to have a couple of cool things over at the website this week, stevehufpphoto.com. If you like this video and you want to see the next one on the Z6, thumbs up and subscribe, and that way you will not miss it. Be sure to hit that notification bell as well. Thank you, love you all, and I will see you next time. Bye.